There we are. We're live now. Now just to share it out.
Okay.
You're too quick at sharing things out, man.
Huh?
You're too quick at sharing things out. I just got to the page.
So we're live right now,
Yes, we are live.
huh? Yay.
That's why I hate trying to do it off my laptop.
I'm on a laptop too.
Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? Wake up.
Howdy, howdy. So I was thinking today, Howard, we could just go over what the show is going to be about and then about ourselves for the first episode.
Yeah, this is my first time doing this with Crystal. I was talking bad about you last night, woman. Oh, Lord.
See, I was the first one admitting to it.
We could carry on with corn. Want to talk about corn?
Actually, they were talking about how there's that band named Korn too. It's one of my favorite bands as well.
Oh my God. It was crazy. God, it was a crazy show. Matter of fact,
No,
they carried that on to the
Korn on the
they carried,
Petri dish.
yeah, they carried it over into the following show that was right behind us, Alabama Paranormal, Alabama Skeleton Key, and it was in their chat room. They kept talking about the whole corn episode. It was crazy. So, no, it wasn't on Clarissa's Live. It was no, that was just me after the fact of the show. Hey, Tommy, look, Tommy, I got to get with you, brother. We for that investigation tonight. Let me know after I get off of here. I'll give you a call. A place where we can meet up and everything. Get all that set up. And Tommy is with the Tangipahoa Tangipahoa Parish Paranormal Society. Great guy, great group of guys there. We're trying to work together on some things, and finally we were able to get with him working and me working and everything else. It's kind of like hit and miss with each other. So hopefully we can get something set up. We're supposed to be doing an investigation tonight, so
Yeah,
it's going to be fun. So what you been up to, Blake?
not much. Working on certain things, and I just was finally able to finish up a order of REM pods. Finished them up last night.
That's right. You make stuff, don't you? You make those REM pods and stuff.
I do. I've definitely dropped the price way down on them though. When I first started, I had my head in the clouds, man. I was being kind of greedy with it, wanted to make some real money off of it. So I was charging like 40 a pop, and I was like, that's just not fair, to everybody else. So I went to Parainformants, and I did being at the convention deal on them for like 25 a pop, like there and then. Right now, if you come order it in person, it was 25 a pop. And then I just got to thinking after that, and I was like, you know what? I should just stick to 25, And then maybe down the line, like next year, at more conventions, I'll probably keep doing, at the convention deals of like $20 a pop or something, just like $5 off or whatever for ordering it right there and then in person.
Yeah, I'll take one. You send me a check for $25 in one of them, I'll take it.
You want one?
Yeah, give me one for 20 and send me a check for $25 and one of them, and I'll take one.
Okay. Nick's in here. He's gonna bring up the corn.
Oh, Nick of the Corn. That's the first time I've ever done a show. That was an all-time new low. It was.
Oh,
It was.
you guys went way off the deep end right off the bat.
Yeah, that ship sunk quick, didn't it?
Especially when Ricky played that song for you.
Yeah, that was a crazy show. Oh, I have some future guests. We're going to have some interesting individuals coming on. Matter of fact, one of them is Miss Dana Holyfield. Her grandfather was a person that we actually saw first time anybody's ever saw the Honey Island Swamp Monster.
Really?
And that's about maybe about 15, 20 minutes away from me. And they did documentaries, shows, movie, matter of fact, about it. And so it'll be, I'm really excited about having her come on. And then we're going to be really excluding Howard. That's why I'm talking bad about you, woman. See if I bring any freaking beignets up to Indiana. Watch. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. I was like, I got to bring something for Crystal. And now, oh, hell no. No. I'll eat the beignets going up to Indiana.
Just send her videos while you're on your way up eating the beignets.
We've done that before. Going to Kansas, you sure did. But yeah, Harlan Ford.
She's going to get me later tonight, because, I have to, of course, go investigate with her. And, I'm giving you these ideas. She's going to take it out on me tonight.
Mm-hmm. No, not on you. No, I don't think it would be that bad. Not with her. Yeah, matter of fact.
You don't get no olies or tenderloins, man. You done sunk yourself a hole there.
Man, I'll just make some. I'll go get me a po' boy. I'll be just as good. See that? Now how that feel there, Crystal? I'll just go get me a po' boy. No, but yeah. Miss Dana was telling me that she's actually having some activity in her house, and so we'll be going to we might be setting up an investigation in her home, and this will give me an opportunity to also look at the plaster, casts and everything, because she has all that at her home of this Honey Island Swamp Monster. So this is going to be something really exciting for me. So I'm I'm stoked. I'm really stoked about it. Let's see what else I got going on. But this is a daytime show. Okay, well, that day, night, it all runs together with me nowadays. She's signing me. She's doing this, and I'm like, okay, yeah, all right.
I'll bring her in here. I'll bring her in here to speak her piece.
It's your show. I'm just here for the ride.
I mean, that's completely up to her. I don't know how busy they are right now.
Man, stand your ground. Stand up to that woman. Waiting for this. Oh Lord, that woman.
I live in fear of that woman. I'm not standing over her.
Why? What? I'm getting ready for tonight. Yeah, she is. She's getting, and yeah, she's been under the weather too. So, hopefully, she'll be up for the investigation with you tonight.
I think she's excited for it.
Clarissa wants to know what's the para informants about. We're informants, we're not informants, we're informants.
I was going to say, I guess we're informants now. So, Larissa, Parainformants is about basically like news about the paranormal world. I don't want to just do, the U.S. and that kind of stuff because, of course, we have viewers that are outside of the U.S. and uh, but it'll be like new movies coming out. Like the new Paranormal Activity just came out on Paramount Plus, and I don't
Ghostbusters.
know. Do what?
The new Ghostbusters.
The new Ghostbusters, which Ghostbusters isn't really what we do. I wish I could run around with a little laser gun and catch ghosts like that, but I'm talking about even though if they are fake movies like Paranormal Activity, I wish they'd make them like they originally did, like the original like two Paranormal Activities, where it was stuff that could really happen. That stuff that really happened to people. But now you got these last few that have come out. They've just been off the wall crazy. It's like, yeah, like some of the stuff might happen to people, but it's like maybe it's happened 2 or 3 times in forever to people. Um, and but like movies like that, or like the like movies about the stories of people being exorcised and being possessed and that kind of stuff. Or like news on certain locations. Like I was telling Howard that not long ago, I saw that the original Conjuring house went up for sale. I don't know if it is sold yet. That's all right, Nick. Thank you for tuning in as long as you could, man.
Yeah, since it's about information show. Like right now, I'm not wearing underwear. I'm going commando. Um,
Not that type of information about your spooky clothes choices, Howard.
could have skid marks.
I did.
Now no skid marks.
I guess at the end of the day, I'm the one that agreed to this.
Yeah, you're in trouble now, buddy. Oh,
I
Lord
always
of
have a
mercy.
good time when you're around, Howard. That's for sure.
It's always something happening. It's always something happening. What else I got? What else is in the news nowadays? Oh Lord. I had a question last night, and I don't know if it's newsworthy or not. It was a question someone asked. And it was on Clarissa's show about and it kind of it was like it really weighed on me. Um, it was, I believe it was something pertaining. Have you ever had something that actually followed you or followed you from a location or an attachment type situation? Um, and on investigations, I don't know about a lot of people investigate in different ways, and usually we do an opening prayer for protection in the beginning of our investigations, and after we finish, we do a cleanse. We kind of cleanse each other. But when you lose, like in my case, I've lost a loved one, and protect your pants. Nowhere under. No, that's what they make toilet paper for. But anyway, you go to the cemetery to visit a loved one. You're doing it on good terms, right?
Exactly.
But there's things there at the cemetery or different places that you could pick up. You don't think you're going there to do an investigation or just anybody really just goes in, and then something can actually follow you home. So it kind of weighed on me. I don't think there's anywhere where you can actually go without something attaching itself to you. Hell, you can go to Walmart. And
and somebody can
it's
pass it
not just,
off. And
it's just on the ground that it might be built on. Something
exactly.
can attach to you itself. You know, somebody who's walking past you can have an attachment, and it seems like this attachment wants to follow you. You know, it's just a lot of things. I just really sat down and really looked at that question. I mean, it kind of bothered me for a little while, but uh, yeah, I guess it's uh, and it still weighs on me. I'm still trying to work it out. Um,
Well,
how many attachments can actually follow you?
I mean, that just pertains to, being able to close yourself off no matter where you're at. When you are somebody with certain abilities, you learn to just keep yourself closed off, like when you're just out in public because you don't want to pick up on other people's stuff and it wears you out.
Well, really, how much can you close yourself off?
Oh, I
You know
mean,
that.
you, certain people can, shut themselves completely down from that, but there's some people, like myself, to where I can't keep it off all the time. I make a point to keep it off. The only like I don't turn it off when I'm at home because that's my safe space. That's where I'm comfortable at. But if I'm out in public and all that, I kind of keep it at
Yeah, you're
least
saying,
down.
but you're saying that's your safe space. That's your home. This is my home, and it's haunted.
Yeah, I mean, I've
I mean,
luckily been. I haven't been followed home. I haven't had a attachment show itself to me. I haven't had anything
yeah,
that I've known to, present itself as an attachment. I've had people come to me and tell me they felt some sort of energy off me, but they could never tell if it was just my energy or a separate entity's energy.
right.
And I mean, yeah, I've heard, what sounds like footsteps every now and then, and I've even had a cup move on my table, but there were so many different things in play. The fans on, the cups condensating, like it could have just slid, or there were so many different things in play. I'm not going to sit there and 100% tell somebody that my house is haunted.
Right.
Um, but I mean, then there was another time where the table was dry, cup was dry, fan was off, watching TV, and then I just watched that cup move, just slide across. And I
Mm,
was like, okay, well, I can't really explain that. But, I'm not going to sit here and, scream that my house is haunted. We need to investigate it because the rest of my family are very hard to believe that if you just try and invest it, just by investigating, you open a portal.
mm,
And I don't specifically believe in that. I feel like you go to a place and it's got no activity, no nothing. It's happened. It happens. And so, that's where it makes me believe that, just by you investigating, like getting some equipment out, not like a talking board or an Ouija board, that's been known to, if you do it wrong, you open a portal.
mm.
That's been known about those. But just by using my spirit box and my K2, I don't think that's going to open a portal.
Yeah.
And, but they believe that, and I respect them about that. So I don't just run around and try and investigate my house whenever they're not around. But talking about more about your how you were talking about how to keep yourself protected even when you're out in public and whatever from attachments.
Mm,
My good friends right over there at Lunar Nexus, they have a show on here selling their crystals and all the different things that they sell. They offer a wide amount. I was gifted by them this necklace of, I believe it is black salt. She's going to come in here and rip me a new one for not remembering what it is, but I remember what it does. That's the important thing. She gave it to me when we were doing an investigation at a certain location after a convention, and it is. She told me that it is meant as protection.
mm.
As long you don't have to wear it, you keep it in your pocket wherever. She says it is just meant as a ward or some sort of protection from anything negative.
As a paranormal investigator, we as paranormal investigators, we're supposed to look at all things that's in the paranormal field. We're supposed to look at things as such as uh, cryptids, UFOs,
Yeah,
ghosts. everything, different things, psychics. We're supposed to, uh, take them for psychics and things like that. We're supposed to, believe in all that stuff. But that's one thing that I can't wrap my mind around is crystals or rock. Okay, I just don't see a rock doing anything. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, it work. I mean, it works for certain people. I have never had it work except one piece of it. Me, I believe in this. This is what they call a gree bag, and it's voodoo. This is for protection, and it's also for health. And the one stone that I actually have um, was given to me, and that's this one. This is an EAD stone. Denise Pack from Pac-Man Paranormal, Ernie and Denise. She gave it to me. She makes these. It's an EAD stone.
And, Jeremy just got one as well.
Yeah. And eat a dick stone. That's what they call it. EAD. Eat a dick stone. So, and I tell you what, she said, put it in your pocket, in your back pocket, and I did. And I tell you, it I don't know if it's psychosomatic or if it's stone, but I had back pain and a leg pain, and it just went away as soon as I had that in there. So, I mean, to me, that was something I believe that works. Like one piece.
I do want to say, have a great day, Nick. Thank you for stopping by. Don't work too hard. But
he's gonna go in the cornfields. Yeah, yeah.
But I was blessed to meet them, the Lunar Nexus, the Goodmans, Abby and James. They were phenomenal people, and they are very knowledgeable. If you
is that the show that comes on right before? I have a show that I don't know if it's the Paranormal Small Public. There's a show that comes on right before us. They sell stones and stuff like that. I don't know. Is that them?
Yes, I believe so. I believe that because Jeremy created the whole other page for just selling things. Yeah, that should be them because I believe that they do Tuesdays and Thursdays. I don't know, since they came to things. I don't know if they just dropped to one day, but they told me originally they did like Tuesdays and Thursdays on their own. So I don't know if they did both days. Now their work with things.
I don't know. I mean, they have some nice stones. Don't get me wrong, some nice crystals and stones and stuff like that. I'll fund them a little bit. I look at that big one and look at that big one, and I don't know what it does. I mean, but it's pretty
if they
pretty.
On camera, man, you should see some of the things they have in person. Like some of them are just absolutely gigantic.
Wow. I mean, they're pretty rocks and pretty stones and stuff like that, and crystals. But I don't know.
To be honest, I think that's why James is a part of it. Yeah. Abby knows like the uses for him. I think James is there just to be there. To be completely honest, he's the muscle. He carries everything around for her.
Now I went to Oklahoma and I've done just screwing around in Broken Bow and Valiant area, all southern Oklahoma, and I found some crystallized rocks. I found this one rock, and inside of it, it was like I guess it's like I don't know what they call it, it's almost like a globe that was cut in half, and they got the crystals all inside of it and all this stuff. And I found stuff like that. I found fossils and slate and stuff like that, and just screwing around in the yard. My second wife, anyway, my ex-wife. But yeah, I mean, it was amazing, some of the stuff that as a matter of fact, I kept some of them and stuff like that. I don't know what they do. I mean, it was quartz and crystals and all kind of stuff. We're just digging in the yard, just playing around in the side of a mountain, and just found this crap. But I mean, I don't know what it does, but it's pretty. It's pretty to look at. You put a light on it and it's reflective and stuff like that. But
some like people I said, I don't know for that specific reason.
I don't know what they do. I mean, that's the thing. I don't know what all these. Maybe that's because it's my ignorance. on the stones and stuff like that. That's why maybe I don't really care for them. Uh, uh, I guess it's my fault. Maybe I need to look into it a little bit more and learn about them. But uh, to me, I mean, it's just I just don't understand them. I don't like I said, I don't understand what they're used for and stuff. But maybe that's what I need to do: start doing a little bit more research in the stones and things of that nature, and learn what they do and what they use for.
Mm-hmm. I've slowly, I started learning a lot from them over at Lunar Nexus when we were at the Witches Ball gathering. When they had their booth was right next to ours, and just got to talking. Made a great friendship and everything, and they slowly taught me what more things did, and like I know the crystal hematite. It's a almost like a jet black crystal, and it's used to do basically almost the same thing as black salt.
Mhm.
It he wards off bad energy, or well, it absorbs bad energy, to take it away from you.
Mhm.
And they apparently have been known to, if they take in so much, because they don't release it, they just absorb it and hold it. And
Hmm.
apparently, if they are to take in so much, they'll just break.
Hmm.
And then that's when it tells you you need a new one when it breaks. It's
Yeah.
it's gone to its end um of uh of protection. I guess that's the word I would think.
Mhm.
I mean, because I look at it this way. If we are known to know that sage works with cleansing ourselves and protection and all that good
No,
jazz.
not really. Not that's a misconception with sage. I learned that recently. Um, Sage is not what you think it is, and I found this out recently. Um, I thought when you went to a house, you used sage to help cleanse the house. It's a cleansing agent. Um, so what I found out about it, it's actually it it's not a cleansing; it's a purifying agent.
Yeah,
Okay, so when you go into a house and if there's something evil or if there's something uh uh demonic, or you're not doing nothing but purifying it, you're making it stronger.
yeah,
So you don't go, go in a house and you're not, if you got you something you think you want to try to get rid of, you're not going to get rid of it. You just actually create something that's going to be a little bit stronger down the road.
yeah. I've ran into that Crown Point jail that we've all told you about and everything here in
Mm-hmm.
Indiana. There was an event going on when I was at one of them, and there was a gentleman there who was up in one of the more known areas to be pretty negative, up there on the third floor in between federal and juvenile, which are the two known to have a little bit more negative energy in them. And he was up there around saging it, and we told him, this is their home, that you're not going to kick them out and all that good jazz. And
Mm-hmm.
then he said he was doing it just to rile them up a little bit. And it's like, why were you in here, messing with them like that? They prove themselves to us there. We get plenty of evidence all the time there.
Mm-hmm.
And you, and then so we just, everybody, the people who were running it, asked them to stop and whatever. We don't need to mess with them and make them mad when that area is already known, to get at people. If they're a little bit off by themselves or anything, they're known to get at people up in there. Um, Ricky, that you had on your show the other night, he has been attacked up there. I've watched them get at him in federal, and when I was up there, I told him to back off, leave him alone. But then he went back up there after the whole staging innocent incident, and it hit him like a Mack truck. We were all down there in the kitchen area, and he comes flying out of the jail, and You know, he's speaking so fast you can't understand what he's saying. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
you Ricky don't get freaked out like that easily.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he does this stuff all the time, and um, you know, he's experienced. You know, it's going to take something for him to, you know, really freak out like that. And then I still to this day don't know the full story of what actually happened to him. I just witnessed him running by me, grabbing one of the ladies that was with us and taking her outside and telling her what happened.
Yeah.
And still, I mean, I still haven't really asked him what happened. Um, it was all sorts of crazy, man. And then, you know, it's really odd, you know, people, you know, like I've told you, the third floor is where there's more known, you know, for it to be a little malevolent or,
Mm-hmm.
or want to get at you. But I've honestly felt it really bad on the first floor,
Hmm.
where like Dillinger was and everything. You know, I that first main tunnel right there on the first floor. I don't ever want to go down there. I'll walk, I'll go upstairs and walk to the back stairs. I'll walk down them and I'll go on the back part, but I will not walk down that first hallway. And I've always got that feeling about it. it it's just weird like that. I'm weird like that. Like if I got a feeling about something, like a strong feeling about something, you're not going to talk me into it. I mean, Jeremy was lucky to get me to go into the hallway to do like a walking shot of all of us that were there. Um, which, you know, we ended up not being able to use any of that because somebody forgot to turn on their microphone.
Wow.
We had 2 nights of filming, Howard, and couldn't use any of it.
I had to piss some people.
Oh, Jeremy was mad. He was mad. I was like, I'm not saying nothing.
You could look at both ends of the stick. I mean, you have to. I
Yeah,
mean, you could be pissed off because the mics weren't turned on, but you could be happy that you had the time to do an investigation and capture some of the evidence that you can actually use. You know, that's what
we did. We actually had some odd things happen, which was crazy because normally whenever I've around a camera, nothing ever happens.
huh.
Then of course we tested, and then of course then the real good stuff was happening off camera. You know that's always how it works. You know they know when you're filming, they know better, and they do it
Mhm.
just because it's gonna annoy us because we didn't get it on camera.
I never shut the cameras off. I let it keep going. I mean, once I walk into a place, can't even when setting up. As soon as I'm starting to set up, if I got a camera available, I'm starting. You never know what you're going to catch. You know, that
Yeah,
even if it's on the phone, you don't know what's going to happen. So that's why I always keep a camera running on at all times. I mean, it's just something that I practice anyway. Um, yeah, but um, I'll tell you, it's like we did Myrtle's plantation, and Gabe, he's a co-owner with me on everything, and Gabe speaks this spoken. I mean, it's Spanglish. You know, it's English. I mean, he still has a heavy accent on some things. And he was in a doll's room, and he tells me how to. I said, "Yeah, Gabe, get into the closet." And I mean, I'm in a doll's room. This room's already dark, and then he's gonna put me in a closet. It's even darker, so I really can't see shit anymore. And I'm trying to get these little girls that's supposed to be haunting the Merle's plantation to play with a ball.
hmm
And I mean, it's like I said, you got actually we're getting from the time we walk in to the time we stop. I mean, it's always a camera on, and he put me in the closet. We had a night camera and a IR camera in the closet, and you can see orbs flying all the way around me. And I said this last night on Clarissa's show. Um, it was one certain point where I just felt something on my arm, and I yelled it. Gabe, did you capture anything? Did you see anything touch my arm? At that same time, you see an orb floating, and it just touches my arm like that. But when it touched my arm, I felt in the closet little fingers touching my arm, but
Like
it was
little
an
kid
orb,
figures.
little kids' fingers, and you could actually feel the little digits. And but on the camera, you just seen an orb, just like
Mm-hmm.
kissed my hand and just went away.
Yeah.
So I mean, to me, now that gave me a whole new outlook on what orbs are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, before I just thought they were just balls of energy. It could have been natural. It could be anything. But now, to me, that after seeing that, I believe a lot of orbs are people. You know, they could be
Yeah.
spirits.
I've kind of been like you, like at first with it when I was first getting into everything. Balls were just manifestation of energy,
Right.
and but the more and more I studied them and looked at them, I'm still very like iffy when you catch them in a picture and everything like that. Like as anybody should be, because most of these locations that we go to are older locations, or they've known to have a lot of dust. Old places have a lot of dust.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but when you physically feel something at the same time, that there is evidence of an orb like going on to you. um I feel like that's kind of an arguable state there with not saying that it was a bug or a piece of dust, because if it's a piece of dust, you normally don't feel that hit you. They're normally so small that you don't feel it. Your hairs catch it.
Mm-hmm.
But with the bug, if it was a bug, you probably would have seen you do a little dance trying to get it off you.
Oh yeah. I mean, bugs fly and they just so fast, and then you can see they only fly in one direction.
And they're jagged.
Yeah, they're
Like
not
when
this.
they go to
The
turn.
orbs, they go all over the place. I mean, it's just like it's weird. You know, when we did Voodoo Authentica, that was the first time we've captured um, one of those ribbon orbs. It looks like a ribbon. You know, it's just
Hmm.
kind of less waves like that. And this thing came out of nowhere, came like down and just sat in front of the camera. And then it went through a doorway. I said, man, look at this crap here. Man, this is something I've never saw before. You know, I've seen them before, other people's evidence, but we've never captured nothing like that.
Yeah, and it's
So,
really
that
weird
was the
because
first one.
most of the ones of them that I've seen, like the ribbon orbs, they kind of look like if you took like an old school film of camera and it was starting to get burnt. That's what I've
Right,
seen a lot of them look like. They get that orangish hue to them and all that, and
right,
it kind of looks like somebody was putting a match up to the old movie film at the theater.
right.
And it's like, well, that's super hard to recreate nowadays, because we don't use film like that anymore.
Right.
We don't use physical film. It's all on that SD card or whatever.
Mhm.
And
I'd love to go back to using the old stuff, man. I mean, I've been dealing with the paranormal field for about 30 years, a little over 30 years. And I remember shit putting baby powder down. And I remember capturing EVPs on a cassette player, and stuff like that. And then, to me, that was when it was real. I mean, you there was no BS. There was no way of tampering with stuff like that. It was what it was. It is what it is. Basically, when you did that kind of
mhm.
stuff. Nowadays, it's so easy to tamper with evidence, and I mean, nowadays, I mean, as a paranormal investigator, and I'll say this, and I'll keep saying this: it's your reputation. That's what makes you an investigator, and then that's what's going to make your evidence stand out. If you're a
Mhm.
good investigator and you are giving evidence that people can believe that you actually done it and stuff like that, and once you start faking evidence and stuff like that, then your reputation goes. And if you actually catch that holy grail, and you're showing people, look, I've captured this, and your reputation's tainted. It tainted. It's yeah, like I'm going to believe that, like you did this, you faked this. I'm pretty sure you faked that too. So that's the
Exactly.
only thing
Yeah,
we that's the only thing we have to rely on is our reputation. So I mean,
exactly. That's how I am, especially with like newer people that I meet in the field. I start out, I trust their evidence as far as I can throw it. That
right,
that's just the way. And I don't. treat it like that way, to be disrespectful or be like, oh, my evidence is so much more real than yours. No, it's, I don't know you. I don't know you as an investigator. I'm just meeting you. I've heard, if I've heard good things, you're going to be held at a little bit higher, but that's as much as, that's what I've heard. That's not what I've seen. And, um, that's exactly what you said. Nowadays everything is going to be based off of your reputation and how everybody knows you as an investigator.
Right.
I have never been one to, provoke to get activity, unless you're at that Davies house, man. Let me tell you, if you come to Indiana, we're taking you to Davies house, because that place is one place that loves being provoked. Will not give you anything if you don't provoke it. That's just, I don't
So
know what it
I've
is.
never, I really don't like provoking.
I
Uh,
mean, you ask Jeremy himself. It literally asks you to provoke it, and um, of course, there is still energies in there that are not, don't need to be provoked. Like Rita, you don't need to provoke her. You go in there, and I think it's her a lot of the times when I'm in there, because I'll go into that room and I'll sit in the back corner. Every time that I go in that room, I sit in the back corner of the room, and it feels like just a cold pocket of air comes right up on me, and like kind of like seems like they're sitting on my lap, or like just standing there, like like I'm the big guy, I'm the protectful one, I'm the big guy in the room and all that good jazz. It's every time that I've been there, it's always done that to me, except for the last time we went, it didn't, and I was like, okay, that's odd, because it was actually warm, and um so then I started thinking, is somebody starting to hold her back now? Because at that point, that's when the last time I went is when I was with Jeremy, Tim, and Crystal, and they were doing a live, and a couple of the mediums were feeling energy come through, and and that's when I was telling you that there was a spirit specifically asking for Jeremy to provoke him, and let me tell you, it was all sorts of crazy. Me and Tim were,
female spirit.
I believe it was a male. That's where most of the activity comes from, is a male energy. Um, but Rita is a female spirit. She was very abused in her time of life, um, and especially in that house. That room that she normally resides in was the room that she was normally locked in, as a grown woman, and that's why she reverted to, well, that's why we think she reverted to a childlike mind state, because of the level and severity of the abuse that she went through.
How do you know? Was that documented that she went through this abuse? Or are you just asking questions in an investigation, and that's what you got?
I have not myself seen the documentation. I do believe it is out there, um, but I do think a lot of it is mouth to ear, because the family that owns the
It's
Davies house.
Jackie. Look,
Oh,
get out of here, woman! I'm doing my live.
the people who own the house, the lady that co-owns it, really, her father owned the house, and I believe it was him, just like, I think it was two residents before him owning it, was when all this stuff went down with that Rita. It was either the last one or the one before that, before he owned it, that all that stuff had gone on with Rita. So in that area, a lot of people knew what was going on,
Mm.
and so it's very close to them. What happened, and then of course there's another female spirit in there that had taken her own life. It was a complete accident. Lady and boyfriend, fiance, I don't remember what they were, got into an argument. The guy was going to leave her, and just he was leaving, and she went down to the basement where there used to be old metal pipes. Of course, nowadays nobody hardly ever use metal pipes for their water anymore. and but she got it all ready to take her life, and she thought she heard him coming down those stairs, because when you go down those stairs, there's the back door to go into the backyard.
Hmm.
But if you just turn left, you go right down to the basement right there. And so apparently she had heard what sounded like his boots walking down them stairs. So she stepped off her stool and was hoping that he was going to see her and save her and make him stay with her. Um, but he actually went out the front door. He never came into that back side of the house.
Um,
So that's what makes us think that there's been paranormal stuff going on in that house for the longest time.
I was asking because you said that it feels like a cold spot on your lap. And if you live down here in New Orleans, it might have been one of those burlesque dancers or one of them strippers that was actually haunting the place. And
Well, that's
you
another
get a
thing about
lap
the Davies
dance.
house. It used to be a real big party and drug house too. That there's an upstairs room that's got a big old tub in it, and we call that the boom boom room.
Boom, boom.
There's very many reasons of the actions that went on in that room and why it's called the boom boom room.
There's Irene Chikora. Yeah. Irene, you going into the boom boom room with me? Irene might go into the boom boom room with me. I don't know.
I mean,
Shoot.
this is gonna sound bad, but me and Tim were in there by ourselves. I knew that look was coming.
Well, I mean that. Yeah, but if you would have told me it was Scotty and Tim, yeah, I can see that. I can actually see that happening. Okay. No, not you.
No, she ain't going in there with you.
Oh wow, man! I was planning a trip to Japan too, so that goes that out the window.
But no, that Davies house is actually one of the first locations that I pegged as my real first investigation. Like a location you got to pay to get into, that's got several accounts of all this good stuff that's happening, and we went in there, and I got scratched. First time ever being in the first real investigation, I get scratched. And people, the girl I went with, she expected me to do all this freaking out and whatever, because she said that she's taken other people in there and then they freak out and leave and never come back. And I was like, man, my back kind of hurts. It kind of felt like somebody took like just the hot end of a lighter that they just put out and did that down my back. That's what it felt like. It wasn't like excruciating, but it was warm. You could tell something was there. And so I'm turning around looking, and then the lady that now owns it, she came up behind me and, told me to lift up my shirt so she could check my back. And lo and behold, scratch marks right down the middle of my back. And, I just, I looked at everybody, they're waiting for my reaction. I kind of just laughed and said, cool, evidence.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, there you go. That's where you have to look at it. It's evidence now. Screw it.
Exactly, and then I've known people, like when I went to Randolph, I took some family members with me. My brother's wanting to get into the field, so I took them to Randolph with me. And my mom actually used to be an investigator, and so she was like, you know what? She wanted to come out with me on one, just kind of like passing down the torch, I thought it was cool. And then she gets snarled at. I don't know, if anything, the way she described it, it kind of sounded like an old man clearing his throat. Not even a snarl, not a growl. The way she described it sounded like an old man going, ugh, like that, getting the phlegm out of their throat. And, this place had been known to have older people in it that had been there for years. And then so they all freak out. I'm standing in front of them. Next thing I know, I'm turning around because I hear them screaming behind me. And then there's a whole stampede of people running at me. So, of course, I'm going to run because I don't want to get trampled, and then they just hide in the corner of the cafeteria, just sitting there, won't move. Ricky was there with us. That was the same night that we were telling you about that joke, that had happened. And then, it wasn't funny at the time, of course, that my mom had a panic attack over it. 'Cause, and, we got her outside and, got her fresh air and all that. And then, we let her settle down and we talked. And
You said it was a panic attack. Maybe it might have been an attack itself, something that could have attacked her.
I mean, it very much could have been. I mean, I don't think she's had. I mean, since that night, I don't.
Basically, they feel about the same. I mean, if you think about it.
Yeah, they do. But I kept a close eye on her afterwards. Just to like see if there's anything out of the ordinary, as like attachment wise, or any activity going on just around her after that. And I never noticed anything. So I think it was just. I honestly think in my own heart that it was just some old grumpy man just being tired of people coming down there messing with him. That's all I think it was.
Huh. I've gotten scratched. I've gotten attacked. I've got attachments. Yeah, I've went through just about everything you could possibly think of.
See, I have been, mentally and I guess you would technically say like mentally and visually attacked. Nothing physical other than the scratch. Nothing else has ever been physical.
It's been physical, mentally. Of course, once you get the physical, it does affect you mentally.
Oh, of course.
So, I mean, I've had it all, except for a full blown possession where something is actually taken over completely. Never had that happen yet.
No, I know somebody who was almost taken over completely. She was a member of my old team, and they went to that Davies house. And my ex-roommate was with him at the time as well. I was not. We had actually went as the night before as well, and that's the first night that I ever experienced anything as a mental attack. And it freaked. That's what freaked me out, is when something gets in my head. That's when it freaks me out and makes me want to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, and then I had my anxiety attack, which mine doesn't look like the heavy breathing, the shaking, the puking or whatever, like how most people like cross off an anxiety attack. I went outside, sat, and I zoned out. I wasn't in my own headspace anymore. They all came out, and it took, I think my ex-roommate told me it took him a good 5 minutes to actually get my attention when he'd been standing in front of me the whole time. And, apparently I was looking right at him and everything, but I didn't say a word. But I don't remember them until I snapped to. I don't remember them being out there.
That would bother me. I mean, you didn't have any control of your body or memories or thoughts. I mean, that would really mess with my head, big time.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's got to really, really get into my head for it to be one of them things that really scare me.
Right.
If I get the gut feeling about something, I just won't go do it. You can call me a fraidy cat, whatever. I won't go do it. If something happens to somebody down there, I'll be the first one to run down there. I don't care.
Right.
But I'm not going to go down there and mess with whatever's already given me the signal. You might as well not even come down this way.
Right. And that's what makes me the way I am now, especially when I go on these investigations and people are like, "Oh, I'm not going in that room," or "I'm not going in that hole," or "I'm not going in that closet." I'm the first one to volunteer. I will. I'll volunteer. I'll go in that freaking closet. I'll go in that room. I'll go wherever you don't want to go. I'll go. And it's not because I'm brave. Oh, hell no, I'm scared as shit. I'm going to be honest with you. But I'm at the age where I just don't give a shit. I mean, I did it all. I've lived it all. I mean, I'm at that age where, well, I led a good life.
If something happens, man.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Hell, I'm going to be crossing that rainbow bridge. I guess that's for pets and all that. But yeah, that's the one I'm going to probably be, only way I'm going to get into heaven is I'm going to have to sneak in as a dog or something. But anyway, but uh, hey, I want to experience it. I want to see it firsthand. I want to do it. I said, let's do it. I mean,
Well,
I'm willing to experience it.
no, that's how I am. If it's a location that I'm familiar with, like if it was Davy's house or Crown Point, I'm not afraid to go off on my own. But I've been taught, from a young age, never go by yourself. You know, but I'm not afraid to do it. If it needs to be done, I'll walk around the corner, whatever. I'll walk down that hallway, and
It was like,
like
what was that Fear Fest? Fear Fest is the same way. You said if you know the place. I don't have to know the place. I went to Fear Fest, the temple, the Masonic temple. First time ever been walking through the doors, did a tour. They showed us an area where they had this trap door, and they would put people who were being considered to joining the Masons or whatever they were, the Masons.
pledges.
And yeah, the pledges, and they put them in this tunnel, and in this floor, and it's got sand and shit and all kind, and it's supposed to be highly active. But there's, I said, I'll go in there, open up the door, I'll go in. I've never. And Stephen was like, well, no, the wood's no good. The ladder, it's unstable. It's an old ladder. And I looked around, there's a ladder right there. Hell, put that ladder down, and I'll go down in that hole. I don't care. I mean, oh no, you're not going in there. I'll go.
I feel
I
like
don't
Jeremy
care.
was just laughing at you about that.
Huh? Yeah. Well, he's on here. I didn't see him.
No, I'm talking about when you guys were at Fear Fest. When you were
Oh,
talking like that, he probably
yeah.
was sitting back just laughing.
Oh no, I Jeremy, he's really conservative. He's a real nice guy. He's real conservative. Uh, Jeremy
Yeah.
holds a special place in my heart. If he's watching today, Jeremy,
Oh,
makes a little
Lord.
shout out for Jeremy.
A lot of people tell me I actually have the talent to make the Chewbacca noise, but I'm just not going to do it because I know you're going to want me to for Jeremy. But I'm
We'll
not
tape
doing
that
that.
shit.
So.
We'll tape that shit.
Yeah,
Oh Lord.
but
Yeah.
no. So
And there was one piece of evidence I did catch in the temple. I was on live when we was doing investigations. I did a live, and I was tired, man. It was going up and down these freaking marble stairs all night long, doing all this crap. Plus, I was just tired, and I'm sitting. And we went to this room. We called it the blue room, and they had everything in the room is blue carpet, blue sofas, and feet cushions, and everything's blue. And I sat down, and I loved that room. I felt comfortable in that room for some reason. And there's two big old double doors that was right next to me. They had a single door, and then they had another double door. No, single door, and it had two double doors. And I'm sitting down there, and I'm just talking and looking around, and all of a sudden, these double doors, they were like, rah, 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 like somebody was trying to open up the doors. And all of a sudden, it just opened, and it opened up real slow. And I'm like, I'm trying to capture it on film. I'm like, what the fuck happened? What's going on here? And when I went through the doors, because I was sitting on the couch, I jumped up, and when I went through the doors, there was another group that was coming from way down at the end of the hall. They were coming out. It was Ernie Pack coming out. I said, Ernie, were y'all trying to come through these doors? He said, no, we just came out of that room. I met him halfway down the hall. Nobody was there. Nobody.
wow.
It was like, I mean, it was violently shaking. And then it finally opened up.
Well, I mean, here's another crazy thing from that same place to Davy's house, man. All the things that I've experienced in the house, I love. I don't care how many times I've been. There's always something new that happens every time you go.
Really?
And we, when that night that I got scratched, the first time I was there, there was a pretty big group of people there for how small of a house it is, and it's still crazy. We can have that big group of people and things are still happening. And most of them were down in the basement. I was upstairs, right above the vent where they were at, though, so I could hear them the whole time. And I don't know if you've heard about them or whatever. he's another local team guy here in Indiana. His name's Jeff. He runs a group called TSPI, and he uh, likes to mess with people. If he knows you, he'll mess with you a little bit. Just have a little
Mhm.
bit of fun. And so he was in the room that was right by the stairs when you come down. And he's got excellent night vision. You can shut everything; he'll see everything. And so he was standing down there in that room, right on the edge of the light, so you couldn't see him at all. And the lady's son's coming down. He's known him for years, and so he's gonna think he's gonna jump out and scare him. And it sounds like his boots are coming down them stairs, but he never sees him walk past. And like I said, he's got excellent night vision. It's not like you're gonna walk past him; he don't see you.
Yeah.
And he walks out of that room looking around like where to go. And he walks up. The son's already over there with his mom and the group of people. And he walks up to her and goes, "Did Ray just walk past me?" And they go, "No, he's
Huh.
been right here with us the whole time." He goes, "That's weird." And then he tells him that he heard his boots coming down the stairs and all that. And then out of nowhere, it sounded like it was Jeff laughing, but in between somebody else where Jeff wasn't, they heard a laugh, like bright as day, like just
Huh.
right there in their ear. Everybody heard it, and that whole group heard that laugh. But Jeff was on the complete other side of the group where the laugh was, in which that house is known to have a mimic and doppelgangers in it.
I know I told uh, Jeremy and I think it was Tim. No, it was Jeremy. I know it was Jeremy. Um, if I was to come down, I wanted to go to Crown Point also.
Yeah.
And he informed me that Crown Point is closed. They closed right after Halloween, I think. They said they closed the doors on, so there's nobody that goes in there after Halloween. I said, well, how the heck these people make their money off of this place to keep it running? They have to have something going on in there, do investigations. We were going to talk to him and see if he can actually get us to get in there. But I said, I don't want to go through all the trouble, y'all, doing a favor, burn a favor or something, just because I'm coming over there, might be coming down there and visiting.
Sandy is great people, and we've all done a lot of work over there and spent a considerable amount of money with
Yeah.
them. And the big reason is that they just normally just close their doors, period, for the winter. They don't do none of their daytime tours.
Too cold or something, huh?
It does get awfully. It gets awfully cold in there in the summer. Just at night, it just gets cold, and so I can imagine how cold it's really going to get in there during the winter. So it probably just suck with how cold it's probably going to get. But Sandy is an awesome human being. I love working with her. I love seeing her every time that we go, and that goes for everybody that works there. They're all great people. They are all completely awesome and have no problem with hanging out with everybody for the night. And I honestly feel like if it was Jeremy, we could probably work something out with him about, if you're coming up during the winter and all that.
Well, I'm planning on coming. We're still talking about it now. Don't get me wrong; it's in the works.
Yeah.
The week of the December 4th,
So
on
the
that bit weekend.
week of December.
Yeah, we're going to, if anything, we'll leave like December 2nd or something like that. It's a Wednesday, I believe. We'll leave that night, be in Indiana by Thursday. Stay Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and leave out Sunday. And or Saturday night, Sunday morning, something like that, to be back in Louisiana by Sunday. So Jack can go back to work Monday. Just to take a little trip and visit everybody out there, because that's what I wanted to do before I went to Fear Fest. And then I done Fear Fest instead of doing the Indiana trip, and I can only at the time afford one trip.
Yeah.
And now I'm able to afford a second trip this year. So I was planning on coming up there. It wasn't for just an investigation. It was just to come up there and visit everybody. You know, a lot of people that I do know that lives in Indiana. I mean, I met Tim and Crystal. I met
Mm-hmm.
I met Jeremy and everybody, you know, and I met those guys, but I haven't met like Scotty. I'd love to meet Scotty. I mean, I think Ricky said he was going to show up, and
I
uh,
mean, yeah, you got a bunch of us, especially that are on the Things Network. Like you said, you got me, Scotty, Big Scott. You got Clarissa and Will.
yeah. Well, Big
Um,
Scott, I think I met. I met Big Scott, and he was there at Fear Fest.
yeah, he did go to Fear Fest. That's right. So, um, but then there's of course Ricky. Um, you got
I think
oh
Chrissy Baggett. She said
yeah,
she wanted to
Chrissy.
meet me.
There's
Uh,
Chrissy. There's Corey. Um, Amanda. That's another person on Corey and Chrissy's group. Um,
I've never. I think that if they watch the show, I've never seen them in. I mean, but they might know me, but I don't know them. So I mean, it gives me an opportunity to meet new people and
when
meet
I had
old
my own
friends.
show, when I was just doing my own thing, when I wasn't part of Things or Pun, Amanda used to pop in every now and then on my show, but that's because I personally know her.
Right?
I've been out quite a few times with them. You know, my first time ever going to Crown Point, she took me with them because she had an extra ticket. She was originally going to take somebody else, but something came up with them. And so, you know, Chrissy wakes me up because, you know, I was working thirds at the time. I had just gotten off and gotten to sleep. And then they woke me back up by blowing up my phone and calling me. And they go, "Do you want to go to Crown Point?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I woke up, got dressed, and, you know, just went over to Corey's, hopped in the car, and we went. And then the sounds of the snores that were coming out of me on the way home, I was tired. Oh, because
I
we
got
didn't leave there till like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning.
yeah. Wow.
But it was a great old time. I think you're gonna have an absolute blast, even though it's gonna be cold up here. You're gonna want to bundle.
Well, it's only like 2 weeks from now. It's going to
But
be after Thanksgiving. It's going to be the first week of December. You know, down here in Louisiana, it's still tonight. We're going to get down into the 30s, but shit, today it's in the upper 50s, lower 60s. So it's not cold down here. You know,
let me look to see what it is right now here. It is 36 degrees as of that's 3:36 a.m. Hold on. Let me refresh it. Oh, it went up a whole whopping 1 degree. It's 37 degrees.
right now it is 63 degrees outside.
That sounds awesome. You would see me out there in shorts and no shirt.
Well, you're used to that. I mean, I don't know.
But that's the kind of weather that we're used to in Indiana. You know, when it's that, we're outside swimming and playing in the water and whatever. You know, that's swimming weather to us.
No. There's one thing I do have to bring, and I actually was selling these at Fear Fest. Before I went to Fear Fest, I sold actually 3 of them. And when I got to Fear Fest, it wasn't that great of a turnout, but it was after Fear Fest. I shipped them out. I sold all of them. I bought like 10 of them. Okay. And I have one left. And I told Scotty I'd bring it to him. What are you doing now? I can hear you. This mic picks up you farting. Man, that's Jackie, by the way. Anyway, I sold them, and I had one left, and Scotty said, I want one. So I said, I'm gonna bring it to Scotty.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I saw you pull that out on the other show the other night.
And it's an actual functioning toilet seat. And there's a little tape on it. That's for the little stuff that goes on the back of your toilet. You hook this up to it. You can actually go onto your toilet. And it says fighting one entity at a time. It's autographed. It's got the the stickers on it and everything. And that's the last one.
That's absolutely awesome.
I'm bringing that to. It's a good conversation piece to hang on the wall.
I mean, if I had a fireplace, it'd go right up there on the mantle.
Well, I was actually thinking about when I come down there, or come up there rather. We'll be around a Walmart. I think we're going to be in Huntington.
Are you going to stay in Huntington?
Yeah, in Huntington. I think it's a roadway or something like that. I don't know. Had an indoor pool and all that other good stuff. I'm going to go swimming, right? If it's heated, I might bring a bar of soap or something, take a bath in that thing. But that's how we think.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
That's how we think over here. We do that kind of stuff down here in Louisiana. If it's heated, we'll take a bath. Jump on in. Let's take a bath.
I'm about 15 minutes away from where you're talking about staying at.
It's some kind of university that's around there. Some kind of high school, Huntington.
Yeah, there's the Huntington University that's right across the street. If I'm thinking about the same one, the university is right across the street from you. Well,
somewhere around there, and around the corner, it's on Walmart Boulevard or something like that. They got a Walmart, and it's got a couple of restaurants in there.
The old Kmart.
Yeah, there's a Walmart. There's a KFC, I believe, a Taco Bell, a dealership, or I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, that's where we're planning on staying. It's center of everything, not too far away from, especially Tim and Crystal. We'll pop in over there and destroy their toilet, and go see Jeremy and stalk his house and shit like that. That's what we do here. You ever heard that old saying, TP in somebody's house and all that? No, I'm gonna just take shits out in this front yard. It'd be like a lavador out there or something.
I don't know. You're gonna have to deal with Jeremy on that one. I'll stand back and watch.
You can tell, I'll film it. I mean, I'll sit there and I'll go live, man. I don't care.
Because you got Tim, Crystal, and Scott Wilson. They're 3 in Huntington. And then you got Jeremy. That's about half an hour up in New Haven. That's on the other side of Fort Wayne. Then you got me. That's about 15 minutes south of Huntington, down in Wabash, and that's where me, Chrissy, and Corey are all at.
I think it's right by the Wabash Forks. I think they call it.
That's right when you're getting into Huntington. That's the Wabash River. You'll follow that river all the way back to Wabash.
Because that's where it's not that far. I mean, it's only like around the block. I think it's the Wabash Park, something like that. Yeah, I think that's what it's called, Wabash Park, something like that. It's not that far away from where we're staying, possibly. Like I said, that's when we're planning on coming up there, planning on it anyway. Because I want to get back in order, because that's when we do our Christmas stuff. We put up our decorations and stuff, usually that week. But I'm pushing that back, and I want to get up there before all y'all get all that snow and everything, where y'all not going to thaw out till Nick, you ain't found shit. You're probably coming out with a corn stuck up your butthole.
Well, I mean, Nick's not too far away from where we're at. He's probably only about 3.5 hours away from us.
Yeah, he said he might be depending on trying to get to us or whatever transportation. He'll come in. And I met Nick at Fear Fest. Nick's a hell of a nice guy. He's a nice, he's a great guy. Great guy. I mean, I can't speak enough. Everybody I know, he's only 3.5 hours away. He's a great person. He's everybody I've met, from Indiana are good people. I mean, I can't praise them enough, to be honest with you. Everyone, like I said, I've met so far. I'm not saying y'all share of assholes. I mean, everybody does. But
especially then people in Crown Point. Ask Nick that there's some people in Crown Point, like if we're trying to investigate and everything, they'll just walk up in there because the doors are unlocked. Of course, if we're planning to go into the back, we'll lock the front door before we go back in there. But because if we don't,
what kind of people?
Normally drunk, because all the bars are right there too.
See, I'm used to that, dude. Look, I know how to handle all. New Orleans. Yeah, I mean,
I've been lucky that when I go there, and people come in, I just let them know, hey, we're doing a private investigation right now. I'm sorry, we're not doing anything public. Can you please leave? And most of the time, when I've had to do it, they've been very nice about it and been like, okay. But you could ask Nick. They weren't mad about being asked to leave. Weren't making a problem about it. They were asking questions. They were curious.
Yeah, I see where he says, yep, I remember that night they had those random drunks just walk in. See, me, I would go up to them and put my arms around them. I said, brothers, look, man, why don't y'all go run down to the corner and get us a 6-pack or something?
And then as soon as they get down to the front steps, lock the door.
No, hell no. I'd call the law. These drunks just staggering out. They're getting in a car right now. Them somebody's about ready to kill somebody.
It's so normal for Crown Point now. They just ask them to leave. They don't make a big fuss about it like that. Now, if they get rowdy and start getting rude about it and all that, then yeah, they'll probably call the police. But
no, I'll call them after I send them to go get us a 6-pack. Now, if they get rowdy and stuff like that, I said, oh, man, why you want to be like that, man? I know how to talk. I was a drunk. I'm going to be honest with you. I was a drunk for 24 years. I was an alcoholic, full blood. I mean, I was out there. I was a real drunk. And I've been sober since 2010. So, good for you, man. I mean, it took work, but I know how to deal with a drunk. I know how to deal with a crackhead. Hell, man, look, I know how to deal with all. We was at Fear Fest.
That's what you really got to worry about in Indiana are the crackheads.
Well, I ain't worried about that shit. They got portable meth labs that roll around here all the time, man. They in these little trailers, they just ride around, make that little meth and shit. And I'm used to that. I mean, we was in Kansas. They was selling shit outside the front door of the room we were staying, and I walked up to them and they were looking at me like, oh, God, bro. Man, who are you? You ain't no popo. No, I'm not popo, bro. I just want to know what you got. What you holding, bro? How much? And they tell me everything. I can't give it to you. I ain't got it right now, bro. But look, I'll hook me up tomorrow night. And I've been gone already. Fuck, I'm on my way back to Louisiana that same night, so I didn't give a fuck. To be honest with you. Yeah, but if we have that all over Louisiana, I mean, New Orleans, who's Morning Y'all? Who's that? It's Things Network. It says Morning Y'all.
All I see is it says Things Network.
Morning Y'all.
Good morning.
Morning. It ain't morning here. It's like 1 o'clock. It's probably 2 o'clock where you at, huh?
Yeah, it's 2:19. Uh-oh, I got a message from.
Damn it, it's Terry. Terry, we were just talking about our corn show.
And I'm wearing the corn hat.
I can't change my thingy. I just don't wear it sometimes. Huh?
Are they talking about switching over their personal account?
Yeah, you have to go to that top and flip it. It just says change your profile.
Oh.
Yeah, Terry was actually she's with Spirit, and there's a paranormal team out of Alabama, and they were the first ones to actually come to my home and do an investigation. And saw some of the stuff that was actually happening, on all the property around here. Oh my Lord.
He's sticking to the corn, man.
He loves it. He's like the maze. That maze.
You like to go through them mazes?
He's got the I get the Like they got the little holsters and they got the little things where you put your clips in for your gun for an automatic. He's got like butter stuck in that shit. Stick butter. He's at work. I got you. And he just pulls them out. He's ready.
I guess I know what I'm doing at Thanksgiving when everybody's making that corn on the cob. I'm going to wear a holster full of butter.
After that show, I am not going to eat no fucking corn on the cob. I'll eat it. I'll get it out of the can. I'm not going to buy that stuff.
I knew where it was going, and I was like,
Lots of butter with that. Yeah, there is. Lots of butter.
Here, this is what we'll do, Howard. We'll get a big old corn costume, one of them big inflatable ones for when you come up, and I'll stand out there in a costume of corn waiting for you, and I'll do a little gigs for you.
We grow corn down here. We grow a lot of stuff down here. I mean, we grow corn, sugar cane. Hell, Ponchatoula is not that far away. It is also that strawberries, big time strawberries down here.
There's a place that's I think is about an hour away. It's like the only place in Indiana that really grows like a bunch of amount of strawberries, and every year they have a big old strawberry festival, and then we got this that grows blueberries, so we have the blueberry festival, and let me tell you, the blueberry festival is the one to go to.
Well, I mean, y'all have a lot of berries down here. We don't. I mean, they have like a sugar cane festival. They have a strawberry festival, but the big festivals are like all seafood related. We have crab festival. We got a seafood festival. We got an oyster festival. God, we got crawfish festival. I mean, it's shrimp festival, and even got. I mean, it's they go all out. So you have that festival season that's going on, and that starts up around May, and it doesn't end till about November, and then you got November's. Of course, you have Thanksgiving and Christmas and stuff like that, and the New Year, and then right January 1st. It's Mardi Gras, baby. I mean, that's Mardi Gras season. Guess when the king cakes and all start coming out, we start it all off all over again.
Yep. No, I think that's a certain time that I want to try and make it down there. Being young, of course I want to go down there and do something paranormal, but I want to experience what Mardi Gras is like.
We're actually working on something big. Everybody's telling me they want to go to this thing. They want to go to it. And I have a person that's able to talk to the owners of this place, and they've actually got someone else to go in there and do the investigation, and it's been closed off to the public. It's been closed off to everybody. They don't want nobody in this place. And that's the LaLaurie Mansion in New Orleans. And we might be able to get in there and do an investigation. I'll do a live investigation in there.
Wow.
So that's a big thing. And that's only 2 blocks away from Jean Lafitte's blacksmith shop, which is probably one of the most haunted bars in the United States.
Well, I'm not old enough for bars yet, Howard, so.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
You're good enough. I can get you to Pat O'Brien's, dude. You want to go? Let me know. When you come down here, we'll get you there.
Crystal, help. I'm being influenced.
Shit, Crystal wants to go to freaking back to Pat O's. I got pictures of her and Jackie, man. Jackie, when you first meet her, she's shy. She doesn't talk very much. And Crystal was trying to open up, or trying to get Jackie to open up and everything. And as soon as they got into freaking Pat O'Brien's and they started slinging back all those freaking hurricanes and everything else, and then I slipped them a few blowjobs and stuff like that. Oh my God. Them 2 women were ready to kick anybody's ass in that place. They were all, I had never seen nothing like that. Now she's telling Jackie to kick my ass all the time, and Jackie's beating me and stuff like that constantly. Yeah, it's fucked up.
Wow, Jackie. What Howard ever do to you? He's like,
I know. The only thing I do is just love her and cherish her and support her in her ways and things.
Yeah, I was going to say, I find that hard to completely believe.
I do.
Oh, yeah, you're a great person. You got your moments.
I fuck with Jackie all the time. I mean, I got these snapping pops.
Oh no.
And I put them on underneath the toilet seat. And when you sit on them, they all go. She sat on them snapping pops, boy, on that toilet seat.
Well, I've seen plenty of videos. You know, they tape them to under the toilet seat for when they go to sit down and use the toilet.
Yeah.
Or
You just
another
lift
one
the
you
lid
should
up.
do.
I'll give you an example. Underneath the toilet seat, you got these little things right here.
Yeah.
Okay. And you put the snapping pop, you let it set, the toilet seat up like that. And when they go to set on it, you just cock it up a little bit. When they go to set on it and they drop it, it scares the shit out of them. I ain't never seen a woman jump up with no panties on that fast in my life.
Another really good one to do to them is set it up like get one of them rubber snakes or whatever, like one of them big old rubber anacondas or pythons, whatever, and you get some fishing line.
Yeah.
And you tie it to that toilet lid and you close it, stick it down there in the toilet bowl. So when they go to open it, it looks like a big old snake jumping out at
She
them.
wouldn't be scared. She wouldn't be scared. She'd probably think I done shat in that toilet and it's coming up. That's all she would think.
It came to life.
They did flush the toilet. That's true. Yeah. Terry just said that Jackie takes hell from Howard. It was very obvious during my time with y'all. She does, and I take hell from her. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. We went to what was the name of that place? Sam's Club. And I bought Jackie a laptop, and she was buying the antivirus software and stuff like that you install on your computer. It was Norton, I think it was, or something like that. And she got this DVD box, and we got all the way home, and we opened up, there was no DVD, so a CD to put in. So I'm like, what the hell? Well, I didn't think about it. There's a code in there and everything. You have to type it in, and that's how you get your. Well, we were thinking, well, there's a CD that you put in there, that you're supposed to download into your computer. Well, we brought it back and swapped it out, got another one. She gets out to the car and she opens it up, and there's no CD again. And she was getting out. I'm going to kick that bitch's ass. She wanted to go inside and kick the cashier's ass because she got a box with no CD in it. And I said, no, look, you're supposed to do it this way.
Was there a code or a link or something?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's all,
we don't do CDs no more, Jackie.
She was all like, I'm going to kick that bitch's ass. That was the Kenner that was that New Orleans girl, that city girl coming out in her. Oh my God. And that's the funniest thing you ever want to see. A city girl listening to country music.
Oh that's hilarious. That's what Wabash is. It's city people who think they're country. That's what Wabash is.
And I'm like, Jackie, you're from the city. What the hell? I like the music, but you don't understand it. I mean, but it's so good. I like. You're a city girl. You don't listen. I mean, there's country around here where we live, but I mean, she's a city girl. I didn't think she knew what country music was about. Me personally, I used to listen to country. Then my ex-wife, she done broke me of that. I mean, I don't listen to country no more. I just don't like it. I mean, nope, because she was from Oklahoma. Yeah. And that's all they did listen to up there. It's Oklahoma. That's a middle of nowhere. It's. Actually, I like Oklahoma people.
He's from Oklahoma too.
Well, there's good people in Oklahoma. There's, Rosie and Jason and all them. I mean, there's good people there. But it's just, she was an Indian, so I mean, I was scared to wake up getting scalped. Now, I mean, Jackie's Irish, and she's not the good kind of Irish either. I mean, she's the kind of Irish that, you get her pissed off and she doesn't tell you anything. She kind of like looks at you. And then you go out to your car and you want to get in it, but first you have to check if there's a bomb in it or something. You
So
know,
he's saying like she's mafia Irish and not
yeah,
just
she's like
party Irish.
IRA kind of shit. You know.
Well, Howard, we've hit our time limit for today.
Chantel says in South Africa we love pranking with snakes.
Like real snakes or
I don't know.
no? I'd be worried if it was real snakes.
No shit.
I know people that'll do it. They'll get a snake that's defanged or something, and they'll use
I
it as
just read about that. No, I just read about that shit. It was in it was on the news. I'm trying to remember. It was a few days ago, where a guy lost his testicles because a cobra was in the toilet and bit him when he
I
sat
believe it.
down. So I mean, it's like wow, you know.
But that's weird. Most times that I've heard of cobras, they normally like really dry and warm
I
places.
know what this thing was doing. It somebody must have planted that shit and tried to kill that man.
Or tried to get rid of it by throwing it in a storm drain or something, and it went through the pipes.
Yeah, that old wives' tale where the people say there's alligators in there.
Chantel says real and fake.
Wow.
But they said no defanged ones. So people get bit.
Man.
Y'all are something else. Now, the thing that we like to mess with around here are spiders. We like to mess with people with spiders.
Spiders, I don't like spiders. I mean, I'll deal with them. Snakes ain't that bad.
I know what to get you with, Howard. Don't worry. I already know what to get you with.
What you going to get me with? Go ahead.
The clown.
Yeah, but you see, no one really want to mess with me with a clown. I said that last night on Clarissa's show. I got a 40 cal. I'll fuck up a clown.
I'll get Tim and Scott Wilson on it. You know, I'll get both of them on it.
I'll be driving around and I see a clown. Oh shit! Screw it.
We'll go to your hotel and check in early for you, and we'll go hide in your hotel room.
I mean, I've seen do you remember a while back we had all these people dressed up in clown outfits that would stand out in front of people's houses holding machetes and shit?
Crazy.
That's when I really that's when
that's what was scary about it, because that kind of stuff happened where I live too. Like they'd be walking down the train tracks in the middle of the night. They'd be standing outside of the school when little kids are trying to go home, and it's like, I mean, most of them were all teenagers thinking they were funny, but there were actually people actually getting hurt by these people. So, you know, like, I mean, our local police, they put a shutdown to it real quick because people actually started getting hurt by these people dressing up like clowns and all that.
I'll shoot them. Somebody standing in front of me with a machete and they're looking at me like that. You step 1 foot, you can just lean forward. I will put a hole in them.
I ain't messing around. You know, it's one thing like if you're just standing there and you got to get up on it. But if I see you got a weapon or any sort of thing that might harm me, you ain't getting near me.
Now, with they ain't got a weapon, they just standing out there and stuff like that. I'll get in my car and I'll just run them over or something. I'll give them a chance to get out the way.
There's actually been videos of people doing that, to where a clown will try and step out in front of their car. They just run them over.
Yeah. But I'm not playing with that stuff. No. What is this? What happens if a clown turn out to be made of corn? I'll call you, Nick. You can butter them up. And not in a good way.
Well, we're over our time limit for today, Howard.
All right.
So I want to thank everybody for stopping in and chilling with us, having some good laughs with us. Even though if I might come back on here next week dressed as a clown, Howard might not want to be my co-host that night.
Oh, I got a clown mask. I'll join you.
Chantal might not want to watch then. She says she's terrified of clowns. Thank you, Nick. Y'all have a great evening. I'll see y'all next week. Howard, let them know where they can catch you again.
Wednesday nights on Things Network and on Paranormal Swamp Investigations pages. Wednesday night 8 o'clock is Paranormal Swamp Talk. Thursday night is the Petri Dish at 7 o'clock. Same channels. And then I'm talking. I might be doing a fourth show. I don't know yet. So we'll be letting y'all know about that soon. So
All
basically,
right.
yeah.
Y'all have a great rest of your day. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks to everybody.